Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the fourth sector. We are doing a little midweek episode. Well, it's and weekends technically,
just like an off week,
an off-week episode. Yeah,
non-race week.
You are joined by your resident hosts, myself, Joe, and Luke, and we're going to be talking BAKU. We're going to do a little fun thing where we're going to talk about. We're going to do a like it or lump it section where we talk about a few of our favorite moments and tracks and stuff like that. And of course, finish off with Guess the Driver. So, we've had a week to digest what happened in Monaco. So we've had some time to really think about these predictions. Which way is BAKU going, gentlemen?
I'm still thinking Red Bull.
Oh,
Me too.
Like early doors, I'm just going to get my predictions out there. Verstappen pole, Verstappen win.
Verstappen.
And that is the first time I've done that, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
I don't think it's going to be a Red Bull 1-2 on either days.
Okay.
I think it's going to be very close. I do think, actually, to be different, I'm going to say Leclerc gets pole.
Okay.
Verstappen very close second. And then I think they switch in the race, and I think Verstappen wins the race. Leclerc second.
Okay. Well, for the sake of the chart,
here we go.
Sainz pole.
Oh,
fucking never happening. No, my honest prediction, because I can't even pick that because no chance. He's just so much slower than Leclerc. So I'm going to say Leclerc pole, and
no one's pipped him to win. So if you want the graphic to look a bit different on Instagram,
yeah.
Or you could go a little bit wilder and say Perez to win.
Well,
it's not wild.
No, it's not wild at all. Checo's going to win the championship this year. I'll go on. Leclerc's going to do the double. I'm going to take the Ferrari route this weekend. Although I do think that Red Bull straight line speed as displayed in many places, Miami where Ferrari had DRS and it still couldn't keep up. It's one of the longest straights in F1, so that is obviously going to play a huge part in this weekend. So I to be honest, I wouldn't be at all surprised by Red Bull domination. But there's slow speed sections where I think the Ferrari could be better as well. So I'm not sure.
I think beginning of the season we had a case where Red Bull were only good in high speed areas and straights. And I think it's kind of evened itself out now.
Yeah. I don't think they were ever horrible in the slow speed, but they just weren't on the same level as far.
But I mean, it's exactly as the same, I think, as the Ferrari was last year, where it's quite a lot more agile than the majority of the rest of the cars. Just seems to sit really well in slow speeds. Whereas this season, I think they've got a little bit more straight line than they did last year, obviously. But I don't think the Red Bull is sticking out as much as it did at the beginning of the season for being a bit of a boat.
Yeah, no, it's it is a nimble little thing now as well as fast. So I think it is the Red Bull and Ferrari thing this year. The truth is, to me, I think they're very, very, very even. And it really can be this is where the driver is the biggest factor, and it can come down to, well, of course, strategy, Monaco, but it really is a difference in driver, and this is where you're seeing at least Perez is closing the gap up to Max a little bit and sort of making it, but Carlos is just not on the pace.
But this is what I think the thing is with both, and it might have been last episode or the episode before. I'm terrible at remembering. I'm not sure Charles has it yet. You see
that factor to take it.
There's a certain energy from Max, isn't there? Where it's like, even if he's like the odds are against him, you kind of think you never know. Like he can turn it on.
Yeah, well, he's already.
I don't get that feeling from Leclerc. It might be very wrong.
I think.
But I don't get the same feeling as like
Cal
when
pointed
Max-
out what I said last 2 weeks ago about Charles winning Monaco. If he won Monaco, he won the championship. In my opinion, he didn't lose Monaco. Like
No.
he was the fastest driver on track. He was the fastest in qualifying by a chunk. I know what you mean, but I think that there's the two errors that have led to him sort of not maximizing on his points. Haven't been him recently.
But you're talking about a race. I'm talking about personality. I'm talking about like mentality, and I just think Max has more of a mentality where I think, fuck, like even when the odds are against him, I see Max pushing on more than I'd see Leclerc pushing on. And given that there's both cars competitive, I think the difference is that mentality that Max has, the mentality that Perez has. Obviously, Perez, it's a little bit tricky. He hasn't won as much, but I still think mentality-wise, I think there's more from them than what you see from Leclerc and Sainz.
Yeah.
Personally.
I think another thing to sort of back that up, Luke, is in a season where a Ferrari has been arguably the better car in, I would probably say 4 of the 7 races we've had or whatever it is.
I think that's fair.
I would say around probably Max has got 4 wins this season. Leclerc's got 3 wins in his career. Maybe 4 wins in his career.
I think it's 4.
There you go. But 4 wins in his whole career. And Max has got 4 wins this season. There's something about Max just has an edge. Like even when Leclerc, he just can't seem to, he doesn't close things out the same, does he? Do you know what I mean?
And I think it is more than the car. This is like that winner's mentality. There's no doubt, like just to make this clear, obviously, Leclerc is 100% one of the best drivers on the grid.
He's brilliant, absolutely.
It's 4 race wins.
4 race wins. Max has got that this season. Do you know what I mean?
It's supposed, so Charles won 3 this season, right? 2.
Yeah.
2 before that. Wait, what's the saying from Monza? Was it he won in Spa, he wins in Monza?
Well, he won in Spa and he won in Monza, yeah.
There you go. That was the iconic commentary.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the difference, I think. Is Max just has that mentality.
Yeah. So this is the thing that he needs to get over. And at the start of the season, it looked like it was gonna go that way, and he was gonna go with this great run of form, and he lost the fight with Max in Saudi. And it has just sort of been backwards and forwards. You're not sure. And you just don't, even when he's out miles in front, with Max, when he's out in front, I can quite safely say I can turn it off and I'll flick it back on and Max has won the race. But
unless he has an engine issue.
Unless you talk about Baku or...
That's the other unfortunate thing for Charles, is that he's had the engine issue and he's had a bad strategy call. So it's like...
Yeah, they're two more wins that he probably would have had. You've got to assume that with the lead, with the situations he was in, Monaco, obviously you can't overtake. And Spain, he was so far ahead at one point. So... there is misfortune in it as well, because obviously Max's DNFs both come, whilst obviously it's still very valuable points, both have come when he's been in like P2 or lower. So, it's given Charles a much easier afternoon when Max is not finishing the race, and they're the races that he's won. So it is all very interesting on how it's going to play out. And obviously reliability plays a massive issue as well. Do we see Mercedes or McLaren or Alpine or anyone coming into the fray this weekend? Do you expect any surprise packages? Based on what we saw from Merck in Monaco, there's going to be sections that they're not going to struggle with. So I can't imagine them being in big contention.
No.
I think Alonso will have a good weekend.
I'm more with Alpine than I would be with...
I'm really impressed with them. Yeah, they've just got doing such a solid job. And
I think Alonso's been unlucky as well to not have the points that he should have at this point in the season.
Yeah,
Ocon's got way more points than him now, hasn't he? But I think Alonso's been slightly unlucky. But I think he's one that I think will probably whack it in the top 6, maybe. Yeah.
BAKU. I think he's easily got the pace for it, and it's I'd expect that. McLaren,
no.
McLaren again. It's if I'm honest, it's Lando yes, Danny no. Probably is how it's going to happen.
The heat is going to really start falling on Danny now.
Yeah, I think it already is. I'm seeing a lot more media about him getting replaced and him getting his contract cut short and stuff like that. And I know it's all rumors and that's all for clicks and views and stuff, but
it's got to come from somewhere.
It starts the minute you start underperforming consistently. It's not just 1 or 2 races anymore. It's, even in the back end of last season.
I think you could argue that, at certain points, you can argue he's learning with a team. So you have that. And then obviously start of a new era. You could argue that the car is very different. But I think the fact that Lando's kicked on again and is outperforming consistently, and not even by 1 or 2 positions, sometimes a lot, like 5 or 6 positions between them.
I think it was like 10 recently.
Or 10, right? So that's where it really starts to sting. And I think that's when the likes of Zach Brown and people like that kind of look at it as, Lando's able to do this. You're not even close to that sometimes.
But I mean, not to paint everyone with the same brush, but you can say, for argument's sake, let's just point it out. Well, George Russell's very much outperforming Lewis Hamilton.
It's different.
Yes, that's why I'm saying don't paint everyone with the same brush, because it's different. But like, he's gonna do something eventually, isn't he? But like, he's got it in him. Like, I don't know. Monza last year, right? It wasn't that it all went the right way, because the car was still probably the 4th fastest car last year, right? 3rd, 4th fastest car. And it's probably the 4th fastest car this year. So there's, he capitalized on that, and that car stayed in front, and obviously so did Lando. So there's an element there. I think Baku will be an interesting one, because the McLaren seems to be okay in slow speed, because there's a fair amount of the slow speed stuff, but
half the track is a straight.
That's what I'm wondering. And when you mentioned, is Danny going to feel the heat? What are we looking like for the weather in Azerbaijan on Sunday?
It's meant to be hot, isn't it?
Uh-oh.
Let's have a look.
Because the whole grid is struggling. Mercedes obviously one of them. Who else has been struggling with heat?
Well, here's the thing: is whilst they've been struggling with heat in certain aspects, like Aston Martin as well, and AlphaTauri.
It's 29 degrees. Sorry, Cal. 29 degrees on Sunday. Apparently.
Oh, it's gonna be a nice warm day.
Track temp will be a nice 45 then, won't it?
Yeah, but in many respects, so one of Mercedes' big issues this year has been their tyre warm up. The reason they've been suffering so much on strategy is that their first 2 outlaps after a box are so significantly slower than a lot of the grid, because they're struggling to fire the tyres up in colder like temperatures. Like Imola, for example, they struggled so much because the track temperatures were so much lower. So obviously the engine thing is a concern, as we saw in Barcelona, and it happened to Ferrari even that day. So who knows? But at the same time, it could benefit them in certain ways. Is there any wild card sort of predictions anyone was thinking? Is there any
not wild card
points? Or...
I do think this will be the first race where we do not see George in the top 5.
Okay, I think
so.
I think that's a fair assessment. To be fair.
not really a wild card, but I think it's a very, very fast track, and I'm just not sure. I know it's got slow parts, but like I said, half the track is a straight. And I don't know. I've just got a gut feeling this is where the top 5 consistency ends for George.
I'm going to say double points for AlphaTauri this weekend.
That's wild.
It is wild.
That's very.
Yeah.
Is that because there's only going to be 10 finishes?
Well, well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, fuck it.
We've said that before, haven't we, about no one finishing the race? And I think that when they had 2 retirees, so I looked a bit of a mug. But I don't know. I think there's a wild card to be had in the 3rd spot on the podium, and I'm thinking about a few different teams here, because I know we've got a lot of speculation around what Red Bull are going to do about Perez, and I know obviously he won last year when Verstappen crashed out. although I've been chatting absolute tripe about the McLaren, I reckon Lando's got it, and we know he's got it.
Lando P3.
Lando podium, why not?
Fuck it, man.
It's
Yeah.
wild.
It's a wild card, man. Yeah, for sure. Lando
Mine's
P3.
super safe compared to some of the shit you guys are putting out there.
Yeah, I reckon mine's actually less wild than Callum's double points for AlphaTauri.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you know what? Screw it. I might just say it. Latifi P3.
Oh no.
no, I'm sticking to
Latifi P15 would be more wild.
I think there comes a point on this podcast where we've actually given up with our wildcard prediction being Mick Schumacher scores a point. We've given up. He's
No,
cost,
this will be the week that he does
we've
it.
given up. I see he's cost the team $3.5 million in 4 crashes.
Pennies, mate. Don't worry about it.
It's a lot, mate. He split the car in half twice. Yeah, he's had some.
Do you think he's in the danger zone yet, or do you think he's?
I think he should be.
You think the name's carrying him?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Can't be the name.
What do you mean?
Which one can't be the name?
Can't be the name. He won F2 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
It's being coddled because he's a rookie. That's what I think it is. I understand the name, the argument for the name, but I think they know he's got something. He's been in has he been in Q3 once as well?
Maybe once.
I think he's made an appearance in Q3. He's massively outperformed, obviously, Mazepin all of last season. He's not been that far off Magnussen when they've not been in good form either.
Yeah, but Magnussen's got like 40 points and Mick has none.
Yeah, but a lot of those were picked up from the first weekend. Let's be real.
Say a lot. Can't have been that many.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah, still a quarter of your points picked up in one race.
Only been 7 races.
It's still 10 more than Mick's ever got, so it doesn't matter either way.
I reckon he'll get points, and I don't reckon he'll go either. I think he's still a rookie. It's like Sonoda. Sonoda got points on his first race and has probably had another 3 races since when he's had points, hasn't he? So
yeah. Do you know the average qualifying gap between teammates? Gasly and Sonoda is on average this season the smallest gap between teammates of all the teams. Bottas and Guan Yu Zhou being the biggest gap, an average of 1.4 seconds gap between them.
I think there would be a bigger gap between Gasly and Sonoda if the AlphaTauri worked.
Yeah, it's only qualifying though. To be fair, it's nothing to do with the.
No, but if the car was good, we thought it was pretty good last year, right? It was pretty decent car, and as I said before, Gasly was in Q3 majority of the season, if not sort of every race. And I think Sonoda was in Q3 quite a lot as well. Like, you know, if the car was there, I think that gap would be bigger, like it was last year.
Yeah, where maybe Gasly could display his thing. And obviously we will sort of move on soonish. I did see a thing about, and I don't know how true this is, but I just thought I'd sort of get your guys' topics on it whilst we're discussing sort of where drivers may end up next year. Of course, we know now Perez has signed a new contract. Gasly, apparently AlphaTauri have said that they can't keep him like next year. Like it's
Why?
I didn't wish I'd read it properly. I didn't click on, so that was the headline, and I didn't click on it, so I can't tell you any further than what I read there.
Do you think
Fucking useless then, aren't you?
It's probably clickbait. There's no, I mean, unless it's like contract demands.
Well, it very well could be because of his like performance. Maybe he wants more than they can offer him. But it was just an article I saw somewhere.
Yeah, but again, that makes no sense because if it's the choice between AlphaTauri or a seat in F1, then it surely you're going to at least stay put versus going. Where else is he going to go? Unless
I mean, that's the one I was going to highlight that a lot of people are bringing up. I know we talked last week about Zach Brown being at the Indy 500, and people was basically saying he's potentially scouting for Pato Award. I mean, is Gasly and Norris a terrible pairing?
No, I think I really
think
like
it's
it.
a tricky pairing.
I don't.
It says Pierre Gasly said he would need to look at his own career if he failed to secure Sergio Perez's Red Bull seat. Gasly is still confirmed he has ambitions to win the World Championship over the next few years and hinted that he could leave in an attempt to pursue this.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty
And
obvious.
now-
Right?
I don't think he's getting a seat again at Red Bull.
Well, Perez
No.
has just got his contract.
But like take next season out the way or whatever. Even still, in a couple of years, if Perez's contract ends,
Well, yeah, there's no point because at that point you're not investing in the future. He's not a young,
No.
not as young a driver anymore.
So
So,
I don't
I think,
think
no, the Red Bull seat's gone for him, and he's not going to be
He's not gonna
in
go
the Red Bull
Ferrari.
seat. But I mean, there's two that we can think of, right? There's Ricardo, and I think we mentioned this before. There's also the Hamilton seat. We've also mentioned Alpine. I think those are the three teams that he could be racing for in the next couple of years.
Seb seat as well.
I don't think he goes to Aston Martin.
I
But
think-
again, like we said, would you rather race than not race? Obviously,
Yeah.
you'd rather race.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the reason Seb is where he is.
Yeah. So you'd say that? Would you say they're the four, or am I making it up?
No, I reckon so.
Where would you like to see him?
Well, I like the idea of the McLaren seat, just because it's probably the one with the most potential, and I think I'd love to see. I feel like Gasly v Norris is a very cool teammate battle. That's one that, you know, these are two guys that have taken cars beyond their limits and
100%.
put them in the same car and see who's got more nads.
Yeah, especially if those cars at the time are competitive.
Yeah, that would be really cool to see. So I like the McLaren seat a lot. I like the Alpine seat because I think the Alpine have a lot of potential in them. You know, they are essentially a reformed version of Renault, and Renault in the past have made some amazing cars. With these owners,
Also got French team and two French drivers if Ocon stays.
there you go. And it would in many ways be a good match. And, you know, they've got some great foundations in the background, Alain Prost. And I know that the owners set themselves a target of 100 races when they joined F1 to start competing with the top. And, you know, they've already got themselves now to a point where they're scoring points every single week. And maybe that 100 race target isn't unrealistic. So he could be like when Lewis joined Mercedes in 2013 and they weren't quite there. He can join Alpine and grow with them. And he's young enough that he could.
I like it.
He could grow with the team. So, yeah, that's plenty of potential there for him. But I think the whole Red Bull AlphaTauri affair needs to come to an end.
I will say there aren't a lot of drivers that fall out of a seat like Hülkenberg and Magnussen have done, and obviously Grosjean. They've fallen out of a seat, but that have like proper potential and are still young and have a race win under the belt. Like, he'd be a bit of an anomaly in that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That it would just be bizarre for that to.
He'd be someone that you'd be very surprised to not have a seat. I think the only comparable would have been Checo, because even though he wasn't young, he had a race win, and he got secured by Red Bull. But that would have been the only one that I think would compare, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, I thought it was an interesting thing to quickly touch on as we flew through the Baku predictions. But I guess should we do our segment of our new special segment for the day?
Like it or lump it.
Like it or lump it. We
What a brilliant
really
name.
tried hard to come up. Well, I say tried hard. We sat in Discord for
I gave lots of suggestions, but you didn't like them.
Most of them would get us banned from Spotify.
YouTube and Spotify would not like Luke's suggestions too much. So we've gone for like it or lump it. We couldn't think of any puns. But yeah, so what we're going to discuss basically, we're going to sort of go around the Zoom call as it is, and we're going to say our favorite race, and we'll, obviously we'll chat about it, and our favorite track, our favorite F1 moment, and our favorite livery. Now, I would like as another disclaimer, if you're a bit of a older listener, and we don't say that our favorite race was the 1973 Las Vegas Grand Prix or something. I'm sorry.
That was my favorite race.
But yeah, like it's probably going to be a bit more modern than something like that. So Sorry.
I
if
tell you what,
that's-
I was listening. I was looking through our demographics on Spotify, and there actually was a listener from someone between the ages of 45 and 59.
Okay.
So, hello.
Hello. Very sorry. We're going to talk about post 2000 Formula One. I'm pretty sure exclusively here. And sorry
In advance.
Sorry in advance about that, but that's our. We were all born in the 90s, so that's our era of Formula One.
Oh, did I not tell you? Luke's actually 37.
Wow, you're looking great, man. I have to
Actually,
say.
47. I've been lying all these years.
What's your secret?
Don't put me on the spot.
No, I
that's when I
realised,
say
yeah.
something that
Yeah.
will get.
Yeah, no, don't answer that.
We'll just whack
Okay.
a bleep over that.
So
You just see a cut and it just jumps to like. And now we'll go on to our favorite tracks.
So
favorite race. What we thinking?
I was going to say, well, I know mine for sure.
Go on.
I should hope so.
Yeah,
No one else
we've had
will
enough
know
time
yours.
to practice this, haven't we?
Well, there's so many to choose from because, and obviously, being a massive Lewis fan, I could choose from 103 races. But yet, I'm not choosing any of them. I'm choosing Canada 2011. For those of you that haven't seen it, just go on YouTube, type it in. It's an insanely wet race, and then it dries up, and then it's wet again, and people are colliding. Hamilton and Mark Webber crash at the first corner, and Hamilton has to get a new front wing, and then and then I think people are colliding everywhere, and then there's a red flag, and then Jenson Button and Hamilton, both in the McLarens, they crash into each other down the main straight. Hamilton ends up out of the race. Button ends up at the back of the grid. He's on intermediates. Everyone else is on full wets. He's like 2 seconds faster than everyone else. Everyone pits for intermediates, but then it starts pissing it down. So then Button pits for wets. And then with 3 laps left, Button is like P4 and he overtakes everyone. Seb spins on the final lap and he wins the race. And it is just an absolute thriller.
That is going to be a nightmare to edit for TikTok.
Take a breath, Cal.
Sorry.
That was a full-on synopsis.
Yeah.
I don't think they actually need to watch it.
No.
Like anyone that's about to go on YouTube and watch it, they've typed it in on their other window. They don't need to. They've just seen it.
Yeah, I have just painted a picture of it.
I don't even think we need to be here. We can just let you crack on.
So yeah, Canada 2011 is mine. There you go. Enjoy.
Perfect.
Any takers?
I'll go next.
Go next.
My favorite something even more recent than that, actually. And it was Germany 2019, which was probably there's a lot going on in that race. There was a few crashes, but the thing that stands out, or the thing that I loved it for the most, is the drive that Vettel did. I think he started 20th and finished second.
Yeah, I think
again, same conditions, like it was absolutely pissing it down pretty much the entire race. So many people were spinning out all over the place, but Vettel was just on it that day.
I think he took like engine penalties and stuff, didn't he?
Yeah, he wasn't classified in qualifying.
No, he was just like, yeah. But I think Verstappen had a spin. I think Ricciardo crashed.
Yes, yeah.
Did Perez crash as well? I feel
Lewis crashed as well. He hit a wall, and then he boxed. He boxed, didn't he? And they weren't ready for him because they didn't know he crashed.
He boxed for like a very long time.
He came in after hitting the wall on the final corner. He went wide, so they just weren't ready for him at all. And he just sat there for ages. I think there was like
Leclerc crashed as well.
Leclerc crashed. I think Bottas crashed. There was that was a really good race actually. I do remember that.
But yeah, Vettel smashed it that day. He was just like, I think that was probably one of his best races for Ferrari.
Yeah, in many ways it was. I mean, he obviously had some sensational performances there, and he was fortunate. Yeah, there was only I think there was only 13 finishers that day.
It was more the fact that
14, but funnily enough, Kvyat got his podium.
Oh yeah, Kvyat podium. Was that also? So was that the day that Robert Kubica got a point as well?
Yeah.
In the Williams, it was.
Yeah.
And actually, as a side note, one of my favorite liveries was from that weekend as well, which was the Mercedes.
Oh, we'll talk liveries. I'm excited.
But it's not my favorite, but it is up there.
Okay.
Which is the one where they had where they went the idea of like scratching the paint off, which was it a throwback to like like the beginning of their
I believe
racing era
that Drive to Survival with Mercedes that weekend, right? I'm pretty sure they were Drive to Survival with Mercedes that weekend.
Yeah,
and they just absolutely folded, and that was where the DTS curse started. But it was a good race, one of the more modern classics. Joe,
I'm going a little bit old school as well compared to my actual F1 knowledge, because I see a lot of clips around this Grand Prix specifically, and it is the 2008 Brazilian Grand Prix.
Oh mate.
Is that the one in Brazil?
It's the one in Brazil, Sao Paulo to be specific, because I've got the Wikipedia up, because I've only seen a bunch of clips, right? I've not sat down and watched the full coverage or whatever. I've seen a lot of clips of it, but the absolute carnage that ensued when Ferrari thought that, well, I mean, they did win the Drivers' Championship, I believe, that year.
Constructors.
The constructors, but they didn't win the drivers because Lewis Hamilton overtook Timo Glock on the last corner.
Yeah.
And he gifted him it, basically. I don't know if there was any fallout after that.
He didn't gift it to him. He didn't.
It's going very slowly. And that's even in the commentary. It's the iconic commentary, isn't it? Is that Glock going slowly?
Yeah, because he's on dry tyres on a soaking wet track. Yeah. So Massa and Lewis both pitted 3 laps before the end for wet tyres. That's how wet it was. And then of course Kubica was unlapping himself. We're gonna have this could be great for TikTok too.
Here we go.
Kubica was unlapping himself, and when Hamilton
some epic music in the background.
When Hamilton let Kubica through, he went wide, and that let Vettel through. But they were all on the intermediates or the full wets. And that meant that if you listen to the team radio, they always knew that they were racing Glock as much as they were racing Sebastian Vettel, because Glock was trying a very ambitious, and at the time it was working. He was in like P4, but he was on dries on a very wet track, and he was hoping that he could get the thing home before everyone overtook him. And he was 2 corners away from bagging. Well, Lewis finished P5, but obviously Vettel was in front of him as well. So I think he was P4. He was 2 corners away and half a straight away from this gamble of staying on the dry tyres when everyone boxed from getting that P4. Unfortunately, obviously, he had to go very slowly. And that was how Lewis stole it away on the final corner. Is that Glock? I watched that race live.
And it was one point, wasn't it, from Massa?
Yeah, well, Hamilton had come into that weekend with a 7-point lead. This was back when it was 10 points for a win. And only the top 8 got points. And Hamilton had a 7-point lead coming into that race, exactly the same as he had in 2007, where of course he had that failure that put him out of contention for ages in that race, and he ended up losing the championship by 1 point to Kimi Räikkönen. So it was, there was just so much on the line there, and for Lewis to lose it again like that would have been monumental. And of course,
so that race was big because that was the last race of the season. We had Hamilton won the championship, Massa came second, Räikkönen, the reigning champion, came third.
He did,
and that was David Coulthard's last ever race.
Yeah, and he didn't make it past 2 corners. He had a history that year of crashing into Kazuki Nakajima. And in his final race, he had one final blast.
Hurrah.
One last hurrah. Have you seen the special? I know, again, he had a special livery for that race. Did you know that?
Ooh, that's something to check out. David Coulthard.
Yeah, David Coulthard's final race in 2008, he had an all-white Red Bull.
Ooh.
Yeah. And he also had an in-helmet camera, which
Oh,
yeah. It's nice.
Oh, you know, I'm in.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I could see him getting out of it, and it's on the grass.
Yes, yeah, that was Nakajima. Yeah, he loves it. So yeah, he actually had a special like in-helmet camera, which back then was like not a thing that people did in Formula One as much because we weren't in the days of those mini cameras that you can get now. But
that file wouldn't have been very big, would it?
The file?
Yeah, from the.
Oh
recording.
yeah, no, it was. It was so easy to edit. So yeah, that was. And it's weird because I don't think like Kimi didn't get a special livery for his last race. Then again, he probably didn't fucking want one. To be fair,
no, it's shit. Don't care.
So yeah.
Right. We've got track listed next.
Okay.
We've got some shouts. By the way, did anyone have a least favourite? So you've got the like it. Did anyone have a least favourite race they wanted to lump?
Spa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much every single Valencia Grand Prix there ever was between 2008 and 2013. Actually, 2013 was really good. But other than that, every Valencia Grand Prix from 2008 to 2012.
Fair enough. Luke, you've got Spa last year, the one that didn't happen.
Exactly.
That's Russell's first podium.
Nah.
Yeah, but it wasn't a race.
Wasn't real.
It was cars moving around a track. It wasn't racing. It wasn't like most of it behind a fucking safety car.
The whole thing was behind a safety car, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Russell got podium, though.
He did get a podium.
I'm going to go what I thought you were probably going to go for in Abu Dhabi 2021. Because I couldn't. I understand the drama and the hype around it and how it was so big. Like I understand all of that, but as we've spoken about before, it might not even have been on this channel. I've been on the old channel, right? I think there was so much potential for last year to be very historic, and because of that race, it wasn't very historic last year. And in my opinion, it's done Verstappen out of having like, a proper. So say he wins one more championship and then like Red Bull is shit or something, right? He's had that first championship that was a fuckery. Again, the race, not the season. And then he's had this one where, someone might bottle it. I don't know. To me, it does too much for that.
Can I tell you why it's not my worst race?
Go on.
Because there's moments in it where I'd still go back and watch it. Apart from how it finished, watching Checo defend Hamilton was still.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I think I could never even put it in my top three.
I completely understand what you're saying. I just think it ruins a lot of things.
It was probably the most underwhelming given the situation, and it was the shittest finish. But I wouldn't say it was even close to the worst race.
I think there's a bunch of reasons why I chose it, and I think most of it is just the fact that it was a fix. So like,
it was,
it was.
I'm gonna get Cal started in a minute.
Yeah, no.
Dangerous territory.
I genuinely thought that was going to be his one anyway. So I'm glad he didn't pick it.
Because it's
lined up.
Yeah, well, it's similar to Luke. It's like I think about the races where a sport that is so exciting has managed to not excite me. Do you know what I mean? And I think watching those, obviously, there's 2021 Monaco. I'm pretty sure there was 0 overtakes, and that's not a joke.
Lando podium.
Yeah, but again, just for like viewer value, there was just nothing. And those Valencia races, man, there's a reason that track has been abandoned and it's overgrown, the track now. Like it's all abandoned and overgrown. They just fucked it off. It was just so bad.
Should we go?
Mate, I mean, I'm down. It was a street track. So like there's still like parts of the road still has the grid markings on them and stuff.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. And then there's like a bit, because it was like a street track, but some of it was purpose built for the Formula One along like the marina and the harbour, and that is all overgrown and just abandoned. You can like find like pictures of it and stuff. It's just there's just like a couple of like advertisement boards and stuff that are all just still there.
It looks chaotic, doesn't it? Wow.
Yeah. So it's cool, and it's again, if you're listening, just give it a little Google. That it's cool to see the pictures of it and stuff. But
I mean, there's still the colouring and the curbs and all sorts.
Yeah, but it's just abandoned. It was just a terrible race. Other than, as I say, I think it's the 2012 or the 2013 one. Fernando Alonso wins in Valencia, so obviously a Spanish Grand Prix. He wins from like 12th on the grid. Amazing drive and a very amazing race. But other than that, horrible. I particularly remember Pastor Maldonado.
What a guy.
Viciously trying to kill Lewis Hamilton 2 laps from the end. And they both went out. So, yeah. No, I was... but that was... I just couldn't stand that track. Which brings us on to...
Moments. Big moments.
Oh, do you want to go first? I think we've both gone first for one.
Okay, I'm cool. I'm going to steal your one that I've already told you I was going to take anyway. So you're going to have to come up with another one.
Okay.
I'm going for Monaco, where Kimi retired the car, left the car where it was, and walked to his yacht and was seen later on his yacht and was covered, on TV, sitting on his yacht. And I think that is forever iconic because he was walking for quite a while, obviously, to get there as well. And there was a lot of coverage of that happening because the race is so dull. They were filming him walking, just holding his helmet and just walking.
Yeah, no debrief for him. No debrief. or it was going to be a very drunk debrief as well, maybe.
Oh, mate, it's just the funniest thing I've ever seen because the coverage, you could literally, they go away from the racing to show him just walking to his yacht. And then later on, they cut to him on the yacht with a beer. Like, it's brilliant.
And you couldn't get that now. It's so weird because it obviously it's not that long ago. But I don't think that the F1 drivers can do that now. It's just like, it's more commercial and there's too much of like an image to protect.
2006, I need to say it was, so that I don't look like a complete newbie, which I am, and I had to search it up. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. There's a 3-minute video on YouTube of it, and you just see all the behind the scenes of him clambering over fences to try and walk because it's brilliant. That's my moment. What's yours, Cal?
I think about, obviously, is that Glock. I'm not going to say that because we've mentioned it already on the podcast, but it probably is. So I'm going to this is my second moment. I think about like moments where like my hairs on my arms have stood up and I've got goosebumps and stuff. And Lewis Hamilton's 2018 Singapore pole position lap, which was 0.3 faster than the simulator said was the perfect lap. And he went 0.3 faster in a car. That weekend, if you remember, Mercedes in Singapore typically couldn't put it on the front top 2 rows of the grid. There was just something about Mercedes didn't suit that track at all. And he got pole position by like 1.6 seconds. Absolutely, just like the most incredible moment of like man and machine. Like it is probably, other than if Max had got that lap in Saudi Arabia, and I still don't know if it would have been as good. I think that has got to be one of the most like men. Yeah, it was just like, wow. So I would say that was my favorite moment.
Okay. What you got, Luke?
Favorite moment?
Mate, I just waffled as much as I could to give you time.
I don't know. I have so many. To be honest, I think the one that comes to mind, and only because it made me laugh more than anything, and it's definitely not my favorite. I think my favorite moment has to be the Kimi.
Yeah.
But aside from that, in terms of recent memory, because my memory is fucking awful, was watching Lando wave at signs as he went past him. Was that in Monaco? Is it in Monaco?
No.
It wasn't Monaco. It definitely wasn't Monaco. It was Rush. Wasn't Russia either. I can't remember the track.
Was he lapping him?
No.
Oh, he was just passing him and waved.
I think so. I just remember the moment. Because didn't he say afterwards, he said something after the race? They did like a thing to... Anyway, That was probably, aside from Kimi, one of my favorite moments.
I think there's an honourable shout for Hamilton being the only person on the grid.
I was going to say that as well, but you already said it, and I didn't.
Well, yeah,
I didn't want to come out with the Raikkonen thing because obviously you already said it, and then
I'd not mentioned that until now.
Well, you did. You had mentioned the Hamilton.
No, I think that was before we started recording.
No, you have mentioned. I swear you've mentioned it.
That's a funny one, anyway.
So because I think of a similar ilk, a special mention to the 2005 Indianapolis Grand Prix. Have you ever looked into that at all, or seen a video about that or anything like that? So the 2005 US Grand Prix, which is at Indianapolis, I believe it's the 2005. Was
that the one when no one started?
So because of the tyre dispute, only cars that were on Bridgestone tyres, which at the time were only Ferrari, Jordan, and Minardi or something like that.
Yeah, there's three teams. There were 6 cars on the grid.
So only 6 cars did that race, and that was the only race that Ferrari won that year, off the back of 5 consecutive world championships at the time, unprecedented. The only race that Ferrari won that year was a race where no one else took part. So yeah, it was. I think it was like a Schumacher and the Barrichello 1-2. But yeah, only 6 cars took part in the race from the start. So that one obviously
that is just hilarious.
A massive honourable mention to that as well. And of course, there are hundreds of moments. Like Luke says, it's if we're completely honest, we prepped this about half an hour ago, so it's what we've been able to pull out of Google in the last half an hour. So, but there's some really cool moments in there.
I think in recent memory though, Lewis Hamilton was it Hungary?
Yeah. Was
on his own,
and Ocon went on to win that race as well, which is a great moment in itself. Yeah,
and then you had another wide Alonso moment, then didn't you? Because he was defending against Hamilton for ages. But that was just brilliant when Hamilton was the only one. Sorry, it wasn't brilliant that he was the only. It was just comical that he was the only one that come in, and then he just had to leg it as far as he could, and he ended up just straight at the back, didn't he?
I've actually got another one that I think was a great moment, and it's very, very recent, but it did crack me up for a very long time. In Miami, Sebastian Vettel's pants walk.
Yeah, like, out of a car moment, but yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Well, the Raikkonen's technically Kimi.
He was out of the car,
so. But
there'd be a lot of things we could discuss around that. Any time that Kimi Raikkonen was interviewed ever would.
I think you could argue any of Kimi's comms with the team, to be honest, have to be up there in funny moments.
Oh no, not the drink.
I was thinking the drink.
Not the drink.
Oh man. So yeah, there's just a few of ours, of course. If you do happen to watch this on something, you are more than welcome to let us know yours as well. Tell us where we've gone wrong and why your one should be better than ours.
But
we do know
what it's time for.
We do have one more. And it is liveries.
Go on.
Oh, I mean, I think it's hard to choose one. So I'm not gonna try and steal any of yours. I don't know what either of yours are.
Mine's obvious, isn't it?
Well, I'm assuming it's based on your jumper because I think that's I think that's got to be up there. It has to be, and that is for those that are listening and not watching. The Monaco Golf McLaren one. Unbelievable bit
from last season.
I wish they ran it every race.
I've got that hoodie as well. We got that same drop, didn't we?
Is it still available?
It's not.
No. What a damn shame. So I look back at the Brawn GP car. So simple, but I used to love that. Like that.
Everyone loved it. I think it was universally loved it.
Yeah.
It was just the
those
neon
green neon green wheelbases, wicked. The old silver and red McLaren. I mean, really good looking cars more or less every year.
Yeah.
One car that I always used to love was the John Player Lotus from the 60s. It's black and gold. And obviously it's a much different shape, but I always associate that. I always think of, when I think of F1, I think of that car and just how iconic it is. There's so many to choose from. We've spoke before about Marlboro cars and just how
Yeah.
iconic they are. Them McLarens, the white and red ones. Sorry, I'm just stealing them all, but I can't. I can't choose one. I don't know. What's yours, Joe? Because I don't know.
The blue and yellow Renault.
Oh, great car.
Yeah. I'd say probably 2005, 2006, maybe. I don't know.
2006.
2006, which Fernando still sports on his helmet most of the time. The colours in, not in tribute, but
Well,
that's
do you know, it's
probably
actually
my favourite.
the traditional colours of his hometown.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And I thought it was cool that ended up being the Renault colours that he won in as well.
And just iconic as well. Like, I know, Luke, actually earlier you mentioned the black and white Renaults and how good they looked. I loved, the black and yellow. I love the blue and yellow. I think it's just...
Blue and yellow was better, but also the black and yellow was...
it's just so cool, isn't it?
Was good.
100%. It is so hard to...
But then another shout for the Red Bull, was it the Japanese Grand Prix?
What, are you talking about the white one?
Yeah, when did they run that? Turkish, but it was the last one that they had officially with Honda or something?
It was to celebrate Honda's 100 years or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there we go. That white one I really, really liked. And probably only because it was so different to what they've been running for ages.
Yeah, well, that's it's hard to pick a Ferrari in this conversation.
But they've all been very good looking.
Because they have always all been very good looking, but how do you pick one when they're all
the Vodafone era though?
Yeah. The
Vodafone Ferrari.
Yeah, that's the Schumacher end of the Schumacher era, isn't it?
Ooh. See, I always associate the Vodafone with the McLaren. Okay, I like the Vodafone Ferrari. It's up there. Yeah, it's a nice one.
Yeah, it's still like a fairly standard.
Yeah, it's nothing like groundbreaking
Ferrari number, but no, I do agree. Like the McLaren Mercedes era, the silver and red, stunning cars. The bronze. Oh,
big shout out to the black Mercedes as well, though. I genuinely loved when that came out.
Yeah,
the one that you're rocking behind you.
Oh, yeah. This whole thing, great. Just a lean, mean winning machine is what it was. So it's hard. I still don't know if I can definitively give you one, but I'm going to give you the 2008 McLaren Mercedes because, because of is that Glock? Yeah.
Should we go on to the best bit of the show?
I'm genuinely scared that he's going to pick someone extremely obscure.
It could be, or it might. No, you obviously with the new format and how we're going to do it, which I'll leave Cal to explain. But you should get it, to be honest.
Okay.
All right. Well, in a nutshell, we've been doing guess the driver we've done. I think this is our 5th episode on.
Yeah, but we did this before, didn't we?
But we did. But we did 4 or 5 episodes before on our old domain, and the way we've always done it is we just throw questions at whoever's driver it is this week. And, eventually we've got to a point now where we ask the same 6 questions and occasionally we get it and most of the time we don't. So we thought we'd switch it up, see if we can keep it fresh, see if we can make it so it's a bit more entertaining, but also a bit more snappy because it does, like last week, Maldonado, it dragged on a bit.
I think it took about 8 minutes.
A whole 8 minutes and it just was not going anywhere. It was very stagnant. So what our format's going to be now is Luke is this week's guest the driver player. So he's going to give us short sentences about his driver as round 1, round 2, round 3. And Joe and I will have some guesses based on the information that we've been given. We're going to see if that works better. And if it doesn't, you can say you was here when we tried it.
Fair enough.
So,
Luke, when you're ready, fire away with your first.
My first
line.
First line. Okay. So this driver was born on the 30th of June, 1975, and he won his first Grand Prix in 2001.
2001.
Okay. Are we going back with questions? Or do we just only have the details that he give us to make guesses?
I think one question per thing.
I'm just trying to work out how to not like aggravate the format.
Yeah, I don't know if we should have questions because we're going to get more facts about him anyway.
That's true. Okay. So any ideas yet?
No, because I don't want to waste guesses.
I'm trying to think who would have been winning in the 2001 era. Montoya probably was winning around then. Schumacher was obviously winning around then. Barrichello, was he in the Ferrari by then? I think so. So Barrichello could be.
This is helpful. I didn't even write anything down.
I'm gonna say Montoya. Is it Montoya?
It's not.
Okay.
Joe?
I think we just keep going with the next round of
Next round. Okay. So he started his Formula One career at Jordan Grand Prix, Formula One team. He then moved to Williams in 1999, where he then left Williams in 2004 to join Toyota in 2005.
Okay, could you read that again for me, please?
Yeah, hold on. Anyway, so actually, let me scrap the years because I think the years are way too confusing. So basically, he started at Jordan's Formula One team. That was where he made his debut. He then went on to drive for Williams and Toyota.
Has he raced since 2010?
No.
Okay. It's kind of not what I was prepared for.
Okay.
I feel like, Cal, you're cheating. I'm seeing a lot of typing.
No.
Okay.
So, no, 2001. Jordan.
Is Jordan Formula One team? Or was it Jordan Grand Prix Formula One team?
I think either way, Jordan's right. Yeah. Toyota. So at first I thought it was Jarno Trulli, but then I don't know if he joined when he joined Toyota. So maybe it's not Jarno Trulli. Who else would be racing in 2001? Coulthard, David Coulthard, but I don't think he raced for Toyota. So I don't think it's David Coulthard. Ralph Schumacher? Was he racing?
Is that your guess?
No. I don't like the way you wanted me. No. Maybe. Fuck.
I'm out anyway, by the way, in case anyone wondered.
No, come on. You got to at least have one guess.
No.
Take one of those names I said and just throw it out there.
Trulli.
Not Jarno Trulli. Okay.
Well, I mean, you're going to get it with the last one anyway.
Okay. I feel like you've proper baited me out with the Ralph Schumacher thing. Ralph Schumacher, is it Ralph Schumacher?
It is Ralph Schumacher.
Oh, it is. Oh, yeah. Fair enough.
So the last point was going to be he was nowhere near as successful as his older brother.
Okay, yeah, I think I think that would have sealed it. How many like brothers have there been in Formula One?
I mean, interesting about Schumacher, 180 starts in F1, 6 wins, 27 podiums, 8 fastest laps and 6 pole positions.
It's a solid career, mate.
But it's just when you got your brother.
He doesn't even get to
look special.
He doesn't even get to sit at the dinner table at Christmas. Well,
he eats outside.
Yeah.
I mean, he's quite mad though, isn't it?
Yeah. But well done, Cal. That was very good.
Thanks, mate. I just was like trying to think like that era. I think that was more or less every driver in 2001 that I could physically name. Was Hakkinen still driving then? Probably not.
Yeah.
2001.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
I think that's it from this week, isn't it?
Hakkinen was at McLaren at that year.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I think that's everything. We just, I know it's not like the craziest episode in the world, but we just thought we'd give you a little bit of content to keep you afloat whilst we get through this week. And then we, of course, will speak to you after BAKU has happened on Sunday.
Huge.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, share the podcast, tell your nan. Well,
yeah, comment
on YouTube, doesn't it?
Comment.
It does.
Stuff.
Sorry, yeah.
All of that jazz. And see you later.
Thank you very much.
Bye.